Hey there, welcome to day 110 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And today, this whole month, we're focusing on our spiritual well-being, our spiritual health as we achieve our spiritual goals. Because usually one of our spiritual goals is to have positive, good spiritual well-being and spiritual health. Well, today our topic is spiritual lessons learned. And I have a lot of them. I need a magnifying glass, of course, to see them. But I just want to share a couple of lessons that I've learned in categories, because our action item today is going to be to think about your own spiritual lessons learned. What have you learned so far in the challenge? What have you learned over the course of your lifetime thus far that works for you, that doesn't work for you? And in a couple of days, we're going to spend the end of the month, every month, going through the goals process that we identified in January. We picked it and we looked at like 15 or so, even more different possible goal setting, goal getting frameworks. And we picked one, a simple one, 7 steps. So the last 7 days of each month, we're going through that process specifically with that month's life framework area of focus, spiritual, this month in mind, so we can practice using it and figure out what works and doesn't work for us. Because like anything else we learn, we have to tweak it and test it and make it our own. So what are some examples of my spiritual life lessons learned? One, the importance of being mindful, the importance of mindfulness. Number 2, power of gratitude. I keep a gratitude journal. I started it several years ago. Actually, this is my newest one because I filled one up. So I keep a gratitude journal around. So when I notice something I'm grateful for, I write it down. Why? Because we live in a very negative, messed up world sometimes. Well, actually, it's a polar universe. So it's usually probably half evil and negative, half good and positive. And I want to stay on the positive, the side of light, and focus on the good things that are happening and being grateful for the things and the gifts and the positive things that happen in my life, not focus on the negative ones, right? Number 3, value of forgiveness. And remember, we talked about forgiveness a couple days ago. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. Forgiving someone isn't forgetting what they've done or not remembering what they have done. It is you letting yourself off the hook for falling for that, or falling for the way you were manipulated or hurt in some way, shape, or form. The importance of self-care is another huge one. We're not talking about that just with respect to our spiritual well-being. We are going to talk about that probably every life framework area. Why? Because if we don't take care of ourselves and keep ourselves healthy in all these different areas and aspects of our life, we don't have anything to share and give to other people and to make the world a better place. Number 5, setting spiritual goals, which is what this month is all about, and the lessons that I've learned from doing that or not doing that. I would say the better part of my life, the first, 50 years, I didn't really set spiritual well-being or spiritual goals. I really never even thought much about my connection to God. I just, I was raised Catholic, went through the Catholic school, got confirmed, went to church, and was part of that community. But I was a reluctant participant, and I definitely wasn't a deep thinker or understander of the spiritual aspects of my life and the importance of the spiritual aspects of my life until my sudden cardiac arrest in 2010, when I had to start looking at and thinking about and being intentional about every area and aspect of my life. Number 6, cultivating a daily practice. I've for a long time known that if you do one little thing every day, it'll move you toward what you want. And I formalized that, 5-6 years ago. Actually, after my sudden cardiac arrest, I really started to hone in on the single daily action annual challenge. I said an annual challenge. The first one that I did after my cardiac arrest was to exercise every day for a year. And I remember going out and telling my family and my friends that I was going to exercise every day for the next year. And guess what happened? Every single person that knows me, and they were absolutely right, because I'd never exercised every day in my life. And, once I had my kids, exercise kind of went out the window. My exercise was chasing my kids around when I was raising them, right? So they all laughed at me, and rightly so, because I had not ever been an exerciser or a person that was committed to my physical well-being. I didn't eat right. I didn't sleep enough. I didn't take care of myself. Self-care there was no such thing with respect to that for me. So when I said I was going to exercise every day for a year, everyone laughed. Guess what that did? that lit a fire under me to prove them wrong. And I exercised every day for about 8.5 years till I had a physical challenge and a health challenge that made it so I couldn't walk and get out of bed for like 3 weeks. And so I missed 3 weeks of, God, it would have been 2018. And after that, then I did start exercising again. I picked it right back up. But prior to that, now I am a daily exerciser in some way, shape, or form. But my family was rightly skeptical when I said I was going to do that. But I learned the power of doing a little thing every day, going for a walk every day, doing some yoga every day, things like that, because I have arthritis. And so moving, although it's painful at first, once you get moving, you get to this little hump. And once you get over the hump of the pain, the worst part of the pain, it starts to subside and you actually start to feel better and you can move more. So that is a huge lesson learned with physical well-being as well as spiritual well-being. Because guess what? When you can move with a little less pain, your spirits are lifted. So cultivating a daily practice is probably one of my favorites. Seeking guidance and support. What do you need for your spiritual growth and well-being and your spiritual goals? What kind of support and guidance do you need? Do you need any? Maybe you don't. Maybe you can read a book. Maybe you can join an online group. Maybe you can join an organization. Maybe you can volunteer somewhere. Whatever it is that works for you. But sometimes we want to do things with other people. And finally, staying open and curious. If we're open and curious and willing to flow with what comes our way, things will happen that we could never even imagine. Both good, sometimes bad, but good things will come our way if we're open to the possibilities and if we're open-minded. We learned that last month when we talked about our mental well-being and health. So today, what are we going to do? Our action item is just to think about one of the spiritual lessons that you've learned in your life so far or in this challenge so far and how it can help you to achieve your goals and objectives. Believe me, doing something every day, having spiritual goals, doing something moving toward it every day, that, having a gratitude journal or a mindfulness practice or meditating or hypnosis. We've talked about all these things can help you achieve your spiritual goals. So just share one lesson that you learned, and you can just say the lesson like power of gratitude or one of these or something else, but share so we can help and learn from one another, because that is a form of support and guidance as well. All right, if I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.